Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat, our Sunday night shit show. Barely made it here in time. I had a small emergency right before, but I'm okay. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing great. I'm very happy to be here in the shit.
In the shit. It seems like maybe that just should have been the whole name of everything. You know, our initial idea for the Sunday night shit show was it was going to be just like a deep dive on one subject and then cool lefty comedians, but we kept getting flagged and shut down for it. And so it's just kind of been.
I loved where that was headed. I know. Half comedy, half the topic, but we just can't do it. We'll be gone in a week.
We'd be off YouTube and every other platform, which I understand. Like we weren't trying to obviously steal people's material, and it's fun to find new talented comedians who are, like-minded and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we don't have the legal team.
Yeah, but look, these comedians that put out a 10-minute clip want everyone to see that 10-minute clip, so people go and pay for their shows. They're not making revenue off YouTube,
Right.
Sets. So they want the promo. It's just the way these rules are written for copyright bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I don't even know how to license it, but I do know that licensing is incredibly expensive. So we aren't able to do that. Anyway, so this becomes more of a just sort of punch up pod, but Sunday night, the Sunday night punch up pod.
Part two.
How are you? I haven't talked to you in 3 minutes. How's your weekend?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm officially back to being a gym guy, getting off my lazy ass. So that feels good.
Yeah, you even went today. Amazing.
I did go today. Yeah, I got to the gym today, and Strike over here is going to attack me any second now. Even at the gym, I'm like thinking of Strike because my gym bag was all wet.
No.
And I'm like, why is my gym bag all wet?
Oh my God, Pat, what is going on? Why?
The only saving grace, though, for some reason, cat piss is normally really stinky, and hers is like just you don't even smell it.
It's like perfume.
So maybe I'm just immune now.
That's what all parents think about their children,
right? But it wasn't, it wasn't a rank thing. It was just a wet thing. But
I'm sorry. So now you just have to keep everything away from anywhere she can be.
Up high. Yeah.
But she can jump and climb.
Yeah, there's that.
You have to lock it away. Do you think she's jealous that you're going to the gym?
I have no idea what's going on with this damn cat. She and Pablo are now running around sort of being pals-ish. It's I thought maybe that would end it. Like I thought the war was between them.
Yeah.
But who knows? I can train a dog like a motherfucker. But a
cats are hard to train.
I don't know.
Cats are super easy if it's all going well, but the second something, it's very difficult to do that.
How was your world?
Thanks for asking. Yeah. Everything is good here. All good. Just, taking in what's happening and super grateful for the strike actions that are going on, the protests that are happening all over the country against ICE. There are some local leaders, even mayors and some governors who are stepping up in place of a national party of opposition to the Christian nationalism that's happening. So we're looking for the few glimmers of hope. Before we get into it, I want to remind everyone, please, to make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. We want to thank our amazing members. You guys, it keeps growing, and we are so grateful to all of you. I definitely need my readers to see all the names here as it keeps going. So thank you. We really appreciate all of you guys so much. All right. So should we also do our cheers, or do you want to start the show, or what do you want to do, Pat?
Let's do cheers. Where is our cheers? I'm not seeing it over here.
Did you forget to put it up after you said, should we do this as cheers?
Yeah, let's do the intro while I upload the cheers.
Go ahead and we'll...
Although, where is the cheers? Do you have the cheers video handy?
Oh my God. All right. Y'all have to give me a second. Pat, why don't you put on a timeline cleanser? Oh, you got the shit show. Okay. But it's only 31 seconds. I'm going to try it really hard.
We'll buy you 31 seconds. If not, we're going to show a cat video or something.
Okay. Awesome. Go.
Because we're professionals. Did you pull it already?
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh,
do you like how quickly I just threw you under the bus? I mean, it was your fault, but like a nicer co-host friend would probably have taken the burden on myself, but it was definitely your fault.
I'm unburdened by what has been.
It's your yeah. Okay. It's almost there. It's coming. It's a coming.
I see it.
Here we go. I'm gonna it 1 second. It's not up there. 1 second. It's still coming. I just did it now. All right.
And who is the cheers to? I forget. Oh, this is the
this is
how you
British
talk
Columbia.
to your leaders. This is how you talk to your leaders.
Yeah. So this is the head of the British Columbia Provincial Health Organization, who wants to talk about the way she's handled COVID and the way, and actually I have to say, I think in many ways, UK and Canada have been even worse, if possible, than the US their healthcare systems overall are better than ours, but in terms of vaccinating young people, they've been worse than here.
Well, they're our allies. They have to suck or else we would look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till you see how Canada treats us a little later in the show. All right. So this is this woman, Dr. Bonnie Henry, holding a meeting where several mask advocates were actually uninvited to this meeting. So it was very hard to get a question in anyway, because they heavily screened the attendees.
And being able to do things and think about things that can help people collectively.
And why have you abandoned disabled people? Your policies are not kind. We are not safe. COVID is still happening. People are left dead and disabled every day.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're saying. We worked really closely with a lot of people who are disabled, and I know how challenging it is to feel like you're at risk every day. And so I appreciate your comments.
I don't want your words. I want you to do better. Get fucked.
Sure.
I love that so much. I love that long pause before the sure, and then the sure doesn't really fit with what she's saying, but it's like it fits perfectly as well, actually.
Yeah, I hear you. I see you. Thoughts and prayers. But no, we do not. Yeah. And 4 years ago, she was talking about the stigma of wearing masks, and we're not really mask kind of people, and it has been a real worldwide effort of the Western hemisphere to just get right back up and running and get rid of any kind of precautions or protections. Amazing.
Yeah. And here she is. They blocked these people that wanted to ask questions. So this woman had to yell out her questions, and she responds back with something they taught us when I did sales, which is, oh, I hear how you feel.
Yeah.
What we found, felt, found. How you feel, and a lot of other people felt that way. But what we found was blah.
Felt, found. That is perfect. It is total horseshit. So cheers to anybody who gets up and does that, because it's just going to be more and more everywhere. Get fucked and free Luigi seems to be the only action that we can take. So cheers. I'm going to have my first sip of wine.
First sip.
First sip. And I'm like, what is it?
For the show.
I know. Well, I told you I had a little bit of an emergency. the lesson is don't pick at your face right before you have a podcast, because it all was not good. Okay.
Your face is lovely. Stop it. Let's spin the
thank
wheel
you.
and
That's what I was looking for. Okay, let's spin that wheel, get it going. Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
enjoy.
All right. I'm gonna. Oh yes, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna spin again. Filling him up. Filling my glass
Yeah,
up.
baby.
All right, let's start with some music to get a little groove going here.
All right, let's do it.
And I apologize, I could not find the artist's name, but I've seen her before.
Oh,
She's really
jeez.
talented. It's not one you're going to be embarrassed about,
All right.
probably.
That was awesome, and it might have been short enough that possibly they don't ding us.
No, they're not. Look, that song is not. It's a cover. We're safe with it being a cover because it's not going to match up melodically enough. I don't think. Right?
I don't know.
No?
All right. Well, let's hope. Let's hope that it's not out there. Okay, let's get started because, boy, I know that a lot of Democratic voters, liberal voters, don't understand why leftists harp on the Democratic Party so much. But there's so many reasons. One of which is that for the last 8 years and longer, they have been saying that Trump is a traitor. He's literally Hitler. He is a fascist. He is going to destroy democracy. We'll never have elections again. He's going to destroy our country. The US is over. They shamed people who didn't want to vote for genocide enablers like Biden and Harris. And then Trump comes into power and they rubber stamp, almost all of his, cabinet nominations. Half of them are saying like, we're not going to make a fuss over everything, just some of the stuff. We can work together. So one, it's completely just negates everything, all of the hyperventilating and all the fundraising and all of the, sounding the alarms. It shows just how completely insincere that was on one part. On the other part, he's a Christian nationalist enacting fascistic policies.
Right.
And we need a party of opposition to fight.
Look, the evils that Trump was going to bring to the table were real. Democrats were right about that. But now they're not garnishing support. They're not running to the public to do things. They're not doing anything. Yep. And, as far as preventing this from happening, they blew that massively, obviously. They knew how to win. You just support policies the public wants. Strike is here.
I saw that.
But they knew this was coming better than we did, probably. Right?
Oh,
all of
yes.
this, right?
Yes.
I mean, we knew it was coming too.
Yeah. But we knew. But yes.
But they knew what they had to do to stop it and weren't willing to do it, which was be more Bernie-like, 2016 Bernie-like.
So clear that all those policies are enormously popular, continue to be enormously popular. Bernie continues to be the most popular member of Congress. And also, like, all of those policies are desperately needed by everybody in this country. And they all know that. And they're not going to do it. Instead, they're going to talk about the message has to be louder. We need our Joe Rogan of the left. And the one the one thing that they had, Strike, see, maybe you need to put her in a timeout for peeing in your gym bag. The one thing that Democrats decided to hold on to, because they're never going to talk about economic issues because they're paid not to by the same donors, obviously, that pay Republicans, was their social justice issues, their civil rights issues, that they would pay lip service to by, you know, having token, you know, the first Black woman dropping bombs on the Middle East, or the first, you know, LGBTQ plus head of the CIA, or whatever the hell. And now they've decided that that's the reason they lost, because they were too woke. They were too left. They're going to blame the left for running.
They have the audacity to blame people, to blame themselves for being too left when they didn't support a single cause they're putting the blame onto. They didn't support healthcare. They were down the final stretch just pretending to be as hardcore Republican as Trump.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't support immigrants. They're for forever wars. Biden signed into law, you know, an anti-transgender legislation. They sold out all the marginalized communities, didn't run on a single economic progressive policy issue. And then right away, as they always do, said they went too far left, they got to go right. We have done their thing now since Clinton, right? The whole thing is keep tacking to the right. Clinton made Democrats into the Republican Party. They keep tacking to the right. Joe Lieberman ran with Al Gore and then right away, you know, became the Republican. Obama put his whole cabinet in. That was the Citibank decision. Like they dictated who was going to be. Hillary told us that it was magical ponies, or ponies and magical thinking. Kamala ran with fucking Liz Cheney. So they haven't tried our way yet.
They haven't tried, and they're going to blame us for everything forever. That's the lesson here. So the idea that you're going to ever take over this party and have an insurgent coup of progressiveness, it's bought out. We can't buy our way in the way they can buy us out.
Yeah, no, it's over. But because they still have to keep their jobs, because all of these consultants keep failing up, it doesn't matter. They still have things to say, even though they have now, you know, seriously, the major accomplishments of Democrats in the 21st century is enacting a Heritage Foundation Republican healthcare, health insurance industry giveaway, financial giveaway of Obamacare, crushing the left every chance they get, and handing off the reins of power to Trump twice. So,
yeah, and keep in mind, I mean, you know, the events this week, we got the DNC chair, vice DNC chair. I mean, other than all the terrible things Trump did, which we're going to separate out from this part. But listen to the DNC chair that's leaving, Jamie Harrison, who lost his own race. Like, how do you put a guy in charge of winning for your party when all he has is a history of fucking losing?
Yeah. Right.
He lost unprecedented amount of seats in the House, the Senate, and local. Like, he failed as far as you can possibly fucking fail. Yeah. Let's listen to him blame somebody.
So looking ahead, should Kamala Harris run again?
Yes, she wants to.
You think she could win?
I believe she can. I mean, if I didn't believe Kamala Harris could win, I wouldn't have worked as hard as I did to help her win this last time around. You know, Donald Trump, and when you look at politics, Donald Trump and Barack Obama are just enigmas in politics. I think they do something different to the electorate every time they run that you can't counter. But then when they are not on the ballots, it's almost like you go back to the political gravity pulls people right back into it. That's part of how we won with how well we did in the midterm.
The reason Obama won was because he pretended to be a progressive. The way he talked, we thought we were getting health care. The way we talked, he chastised and denigrated Hillary for being in the pocket of Wall Street. He talked like he was going to
Yeah.
be a progressive populist, and then he ran like a, you know, regular
And yet
old.
these guys, they still pretend that it's not the public actually being disillusioned by no results. It's just that the messaging, the wording, you know, we let woke language get involved, and that turned off white people in the Midwest, and you know.
So what's come out of all of this, and we pulled a few different articles. It really feels like what most mainstream corporate Democrats, whatever, they now have permission to be as disgustingly ugly in their terminology, their racist slurs, all of that as Republicans. And they love it. That's what they want to do. They giggle, they gloat, they love it.
It kind of reminds me of when Beto, back in the Bernie days, when they all started saying fuck on the campaign trail.
Yeah.
They're like, we are swearing just like the Republicans swear. Fuck. Yeah. And then it makes the news. Beto says fuck at a rally, you know.
Hello, fellow kids.
You know we're going to get an R-bomb from a Democrat soon.
I mean,
it's coming.
It's 100% coming. Of course, you know, not that anybody, but like here's Matt Iglesias, always the first one to come. Where are my readers?
He already dropped it. Well, he's not a Democrat. He's an operative. He might as well be.
He's an operative. You guys, I don't have my readers. The show's over. What am I going to do?
I can read.
Yeah, read.
Because he can. You just want me to say the R word. So he can clip it.
No, you can just say the R word. Where the hell are my readers? I'm going to have to go.
Because he won, I can say this behavior makes them all look like R word.
I mean, he's actually, you know, what's he write for? Washington Post or something? Okay, you guys, I'm not even going to be able to function. We're going to have to do another timeline cleanse. I can't see. It's not in my head.
What's happening today? Or
all right, I'm a mess today. Seriously, like a few minutes before the show, I told Pat I was going to have to be audio only today.
You know what? You just reminded me. You can't find your glasses. I was at the gym and I worked out my entire workout with my glasses hanging down from my shirt.
Oh,
like an old man. I didn't realize till I left. I'm like, oh, I'm the old guy.
I definitely, normally I do the thing and then it's like in my head, but I can't find it. Oh, I'm going to try to focus. Sorry. It's very disconcerting when I can't see. So there have been all of these like ridiculous articles about what made Republicans win is this guy, Peter, he goes by Peter Twinklage, but he wrote the Dark Woke article that we're going to be referring to initially. In Trump's America, disinhibition and transgression are the most powerful signifiers of authenticity. Dark Woke is a plea for liberals to recognize this reality. So again, it's just all about saying some gross slur.
Yeah, but see, exactly. Where he's right is there's something about being authentic and not filtering yourself and not using corporate speak and not talking down to people.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean you meet them where they are with the R word and the N-bomb and the racism.
Yeah.
Because your supporters, if you just see this as two teams, your team is never going to like that. Your voters on your side have been trained rightfully to not appreciate that kind of rhetoric.
Right. They never take into account like the whole thing of like, oh, we're going to get the Liz Cheney Republicans, which again, I know we all know this, but Kamala got even fewer Republican voters to cross the aisle to vote for her than Biden did. And Biden, at least like on some level, ran a slightly more to the left of her campaign. So she, parades around with Liz Cheney. You don't get those people. And you lose the people who don't want to vote for Republicans. Like they never factor that in. Like you cannot count on people just showing up to vote for you just because you have a D in front of your name. I don't want to win with a Republican Democrat. Like that means nothing to me just because my team wins.
And we know this, and everyone watching probably knows this, but to be clear, this is just a ruse to continue the corporate-owned neoliberal policy. Like they know they know this is not the right strategy. They know this is not the right way to look back and do the postmortem on 2024. But they're not going to change, so they got to spin something to prevent change. So you're going to blame the woke shit, which is a losing strategy, and they all know this.
Yep, they know it, but they are 100% doing the bidding of their donors. So, okay, so that was one article, and that was in, and then another, like, I mean, imagine saying this, another wonderful part of this commentary from this guy, the dark woke guy. His name is, it's not Peter Twinklage, that's just his handle. Peter Rothplatz is saying that John Fetterman, they keep pushing the John Fetterman thing. Tara Palmieri did it last week of Puck, right? She comes on CNN. Well, the base doesn't like him, but he's authentic. He's not authentic. He's a putz. Like, he's an asshole. He's got tons of AIPAC money. He doesn't have any integrity. He puts a suit on for a war criminal, genocidal maniac whom he supports, Netanyahu. He says that anybody who's pro-Palestine or anti-genocide is a terrorist supporting Hamas lover. There's nothing, that's not authentic. He's for the border bill that, you know, I mean, he's disgusting. That's not authentic. That's just a fucking disgusting disaster of a human being.
Absolutely, 100%. And you got to separate authentic from, he said right there, he's the best communicator Dems have. Do you remember how long his brain was glitching publicly when he would come before a microphone?
Yeah.
Like, because of his accident and his surgery, or
he had a stroke or something. I can't remember. Yeah.
So the guy who had a stroke is your most effective communicator. Are you fucking serious?
And not just because he had a stroke, because obviously, like, Bernie had a stroke and just went on to do it, but like, he had actual issues that people wrote about, and then they were chastised for writing about it because how dare you? But like, he's not a brilliant communicator. Like Obama, brilliant communicator.
And I'm not trying to be ableist and blaming somebody with a stroke for not being a good communicator, but show me the example of him communicating well. I'm just saying, here's a guy, he had a stroke. He literally couldn't communicate at all.
Right.
He had some real problems with that. And then when he started communicating better because he was evolving through the stroke, either he had some serious actual brain damage on some level, which it feels like he had some of that because his personality changed a lot afterwards.
Yeah.
But then he just started, he flip-flopped on every position he had.
Yeah.
Hardcore Zionist, taking all the money. I mean, the communication is just that he's a big fat white guy who doesn't dress up.
Yeah, but he's a slob, because that's how they see Trump. And the thing that they don't see about Trump, even though we know he's a liar and all he's there to do is make money for billionaires. That's it. But in the meantime, because nobody's offering anything to the hundreds of millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people who are really hurting in this country and have been now for years, he at least gives them somebody to blame, says, I see you, I feel you, I felt you, whatever.
Feel felt found. Feel felt found.
And here's your problem. It's the immigrants. Now, that's disgusting and it's wrong. And at some point, the people who are supporting him are going to realize, like, wow, the egg prices are still high and my job still isn't enough for me to live on or support a family or eat or have my kids go to school or whatever it is. But Democrats just kept insisting, you all are too stupid to understand that the economy is actually really good. This is the most left-wing, progressive FDR president we've had. And everybody knew that was a lie.
And I think we're at such a point of them not giving a shit about regular people, the Democrats, that they truly want pain for the next 3 or 4 years. They want pain. They want the public to just fucking suffer. So because that's their only strategy they have. They're not going to offer anything. They're going to say, look, you should have voted for what we did, our little shit. Like, we didn't offer anything, but look what happened. Look what happened. You know, they're already running on that.
Yeah, Josh, everybody's asking you, please go find my glasses. Where are my glasses? It's driving me crazy. Sorry. Thank you. I appreciate your support, everybody. Yeah, they are doing that on purpose. And that's also been really disgusting to see. There's a great, we have a clip that we're going to show. Oh my God, really? I think he did. No, for real.
Two different kinds.
Not great enough, but whatever. We'll start. Thank you for trying.
What happened?
He brought me my real glasses, which are only when I'm not wearing contacts. I have a -12.
Definitely
like
not
my
reaching
glasses.
in my for beer. Sorry,
All right.
go ahead.
No, it's okay. All right. So, but now that I do have my other readers, they're not as they're red, so I like them. Okay. So here was another one. This was from New York Magazine. For our latest cover story, Brock Collier reported on the young, gleeful, confident, and casually cruel Trumpers who, after conquering Washington, have their sights set on the rest of America. So, first of all, what's interesting about this picture of all of these, white MAGA people is, according to Rob Smith and CJ Pearson, who are both Black, Rob Smith says, I was at this party, as were many other conservative media influencers who are Black, Latino, Asian, etc. New York Magazine used a whites only photo to push the media narrative that diverse Republicans don't exist and aren't welcome. And the host of the event, CJ Pearson, says, I hosted this event and New York Magazine intentionally left me out of their story because it would have undermined their narrative that MAGA is some racist cult. They also didn't include the fact that Waka Flocka and Gervonta were also there. You don't hate the liberal media enough. The crazy thing is, yes, that's gross. And of course, that's what they're going for. Inside this magazine, inside the article, the writer actually starts enjoying being able to say some of the disgusting things he initially points out that this crowd feels free now to say with abandon. So part of the article, the most visible political stance is a reaction to what it sees as the left's puritanical obsession with policing language and talking about identity. A joke about Puerto Ricans or eugenics or sleeping with Nick Fuentes could throw a pack of smokers outside Butterworth's into a giggle fest. Recounting her time at one of the balls, a woman tells me she jumped the velvet rope into a VIP section like a little Mexican. Then she lets out a cackle. This is the posture that has attracted newcomers to the cause. 6 months into Biden being president, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore, says a 19-year-old New Yorker who once quite literally had blue hair and attends Marymount Manhattan, which he describes as 75% women and 23% trannies. He had supported Biden, but I hate watching the things I say. I took a much farther horseshoe around this time. Later, a former Bernie supporter who looked like the most Bernie supporting person one could imagine with long curly hair and a plaid shirt told me the same. He wanted the freedom to say whatever. I can't even because it's so
sure
gross.
He did. Sure he did. Sure, he's a diehard Bernie guy. Yeah, right.
And listen, I am sure, because I have heard my liberal friends say to me,
yes,
I agree with everything you're saying, but when you talk, I'm not using those words, but when you're so vehement about how much you're angry about the establishment, it just makes me not want to support Medicare for all. I'm like, what? If my saying that Democrats are a corrupt party of billionaire sycophants is enough to make you say you can't support healthcare as a human right, you weren't supporting it in the first place. You just want to be able to say, oh, I'm a social liberal, but a fiscal conservative. And actually now I'm conservative on both sides.
And obviously the people that are pushing this, we got to drop the woke language stuff. It's 99% white people. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with. They're not affected. And when I say white, we're talking like wealthy white, not affected by this. They want to be in their circle of friends and just drop the R bomb and, get close to the N bomb. They don't want to be canceled because they've seen the Karens canceled.
Right. It's very much, it is all the manufacturing consent where, the thing that Chomsky talks about where people are given a sliver of the spectrum that's allowable. And within that sliver, they can pretend that they're on far ends opposed to each other. But it's really a very far right establishment duopoly. And they make it seem like we're fighting about all these things. There's no material substance that they're talking about here. Not one. Never, by the way, they never mention genocide. Ever. They never mention minimum wage. They never mention healthcare. They never mention climate. They have now distilled the whole difference between Democrats and Republicans to social justice issues.
And we're in a new era where, okay, Trump is going to do a lot of awful things. So all Democrats are going to have to run on next time. Like, this is the Harlem Globetrotters, Washington
Yeah,
General.
totally. Kayfabe. Yep.
Big time. So they're going to run on taking things back to where they were before Trump got in power. And then they're going to compromise that away if they win and only give half of it back. So this is the ratchet effect as clearly as it could be possibly. It's happening, like we're getting pulled to the right, and Democrats, without offering a real left, are just letting the whole country get pulled right. And the only people I know, sorry, just to bring it up a little bit, the only people I know who were actually Bernie folks that ended up sort of right, COVID took them there, and it's because there was a void of information, and they didn't want to be. They were the lockdowns and the masks, and then listening to Jimmy Dore and these idiots who were supposed to be leftists. They put all their faith in. They went down his rabbit hole. So the pipeline is Jimmy Dore, Tucker Carlson. Hard right shit. And I have a couple examples of the people like that I know personally.
Yeah, I do think that. I mean, we've talked about this so much, but the void of information and honesty from the Democrats was so damaging, because they came in saying they were going to be believe science and restore empathy, and that was all a lie. And so then all of a sudden, every part of public health became suspect, which, that was a project, bipartisan project.
I mean, there's so many things we should all be up in arms about, but like with literal bird flu pandemic in our face right now, the fact that Democrats aren't rallying the whole world, getting on TV every night saying this lack of communication between health departments and the public, it's killing us.
Nothing. They've said nothing.
They got no message on it, because it would point back to their blowing COVID if they ever dropped any realism into this thing.
100%. And also, by the way, like the World Health Organization, which lied from the beginning saying it wasn't airborne, which takes, more money from Bill Gates than any other entity apart from the US, and caved to him on not releasing the patent and getting the global South vaccinated. These places have a lot of corporate capture in them and battling incentives. And until we take away the financial incentive from all of these, then people have a right to question them. And we have no party of opposition blasting it from the rooftops. And, instead of what's her face, AOC saying, I don't celebrate rapists, even though she, walks around with Biden and was the first one to endorse him for his second term, even after his disgraceful, debate performance. But she'll say that about Trump, but she's not talking about policy. Like, has she mentioned Medicare for all or COVID or anything? But so just to see the progression of the same guy who wrote this New York Magazine article, by the end, he says, over the past few months since Trump was reelected, I've begun to feel these young conservatives' influence seeping into my own polite circles, like The Substance, the movie The Substance. We no longer had any patience for the identity warriors on our timeline. A friend and I started swapping clips of Megyn Kelly on Instagram. We thought they were hilarious. Our favorite was her take on the fires in LA. The last thing I want to see if I'm in a burning building is A, a woman, and B, an obese woman. That's hilarious for this guy. I was unleashed. The R word, fat jokes. No one, not even the bleeding hearts I know, ever seemed to get all that offended. The only time I lost friends in the past year for political reasons was debating the war in Gaza. I mean, to this person's credit, it's the one mention of Gaza I've seen in any of these post-mortem autopsies. But and mostly, even if they wouldn't say it themselves, they chuckled, oh my God, you're tacky for that one. One would text me back in those moments where the guy, the author of this piece is, writing his racial slurs. Oh my God, you're tacky for that one. It felt freeing, empowering, though perhaps in the same way that bullying someone does when you're in middle school. I mean, New York Magazine.
He goes there because he wants to go there. He wants to.
Like Matt Iglesias.
Free. It's like, not using the N-word has just held me back. Let me just say the word a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
But let me just, we've talked about this before, but to me, comedy can be dark as hell. It can be rude as hell.
Of course, yeah.
But the punchline of it to a joke that is racial, for example,
yeah,
it needs to point out that it's funny because you get that it's inappropriate or something along those lines.
Right.
Like you have to have something where the understanding is,
well, look what a racist fuck I am.
Right.
Or something. Yeah.
And that's the point. It's like,
right.
You have to fall out. Like it can't be the joke that just the people that are racist get. It has to be the joke that the people aren't racist get, because they get that
right.
This is a racial thing. It's same thing with sexism. Like,
of course. Yeah. I mean,
I have a couple people in the audience I play Jackbox games with all the time. Right.
Right.
And we're crude as hell. It's like this idea that leftists can't be crude, but we all understand the line of what's funny because it's funny versus funny because we're racist.
And also, again, like, you either have to make yourself the butt of a joke or you punch up. Punching down
exactly
against marginalized communities, like, there's nothing funny about that. Oh, are we interrupting your phone?
Yeah, come on. I got stuff to do here.
So I think about this tweet all the time. We pulled it, the Randy one from 2016 when Trump won first. Dems are going to look themselves in the mirror, take a deep breath, and tell themselves we got to get more racist. And it really does feel like that has been the whole progression. So with the dark woke, there were.
I thought I turned it off. Vibrating.
No. Take your time. Okay, so then there's this other, dark woke is the way forward. No more of this namby-pamby language policing that nobody likes. When someone says a slur to you, the response should be, you can't say that. Your response should be to call them a slur right back.
Like, really?
What are you talking about? Like, so now that's all it is. It's just mud wrestling. That's what they are suggesting. We got to get a little more racist, sexist, ableist. And so the byproduct of that is to make fun of the people who are most hurt by Trump's policies. That has been like, there's just been one thing after another.
Yeah.
Red states, maybe you shouldn't have voted for that. Maybe, so
Schumer, we got Schumer here dropping that, right? I mean, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
There's the whole list of them here.
All right.
You reading them?
Yeah.
You got the readers.
Thank you, Josh. This is the Senate minority leader. Okay. So the head Democrat in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, you're watching the Super Bowl next week. Wait till Trump's tariffs raise your pizza prices. You're driving to work. Wait till Trump's tariffs raise your gas prices. You're watching the Super Bowl next week. Oh my God. Wait till Trump's tariffs I'm embarrassed to read these, and he had his staff write them. Wait till Trump's tariffs raise your guacamole and beer prices. You're worried about car prices. Wait till Trump's Canada tariffs raise your car prices. You're worried about tomato prices. Wait till Trump's Mexico tariffs raise your tomato prices. That's the leader of the opposition right there. We're in good hands, folks, like super good hands. I mean, okay, wait, the red state pain, I just wanted to go back to, because that has been okay, this guy who, I don't know if he blocked me or the person who posted it, but I'm very hurt. But anyway, it's funny. I like it. But this is a distillation of what the last few weeks have been since Trump came to power and started just like recklessly destroying one, organization after another and terrifying people about what the future might be.
Did you get what you wanted? Did you get what you wanted? Yeah. This is what you wanted, huh? He won. I hope you got exactly what you wanted. I hope you got for all of the black people who were quote unquote mad at the Democratic Party because they wouldn't give you reparations or they wouldn't promise you a black focused vote or whatever it is. I hope you get Trump, who's not going to promise you anything. He's going to take you back to slavery. I hope he calls you monkey. I hope he calls you jigaboo and a spook. I hope he calls you monkey twice. I hope buck breaking comes back. I hope they call all the black women mammies. I hope all of that happens so you can see what you asked for. I hope that all the Mexicans who were afraid of illegal immigrants just as much as the other people were, I hope those people get sent back to their country. Yeah. I hope all of the Hispanics in Miami-Dade who were just afraid of communism because they came from a country that was just ravaged by it. I hope that they get shown what it looks like to really be ravaged. I hope they get sent back on boats. I hope they have to swim back. I hope their back has to be wet all over again. Because that's what he's going to make you do. He's going to make you swim all the way back. Yeah, all those people in Michigan who didn't support Kamala Harris because she wouldn't say the word weapons embargo. Yeah, I hope they're forced to go through what happened right after 9/11. Yeah, flight risks all of you. He's gonna put all of you in internment camps. Because that's what you wanted, right? You wanted to be in an internment camp. You wanted that, all right? That's what you wanted. I hope everybody who had religious values until they wouldn't support Kamala Harris, I hope you get forced to have babies. I hope your father assaults you and therefore you're forced to have the baby that you wanted so badly. I hope that's what happens to you. I hope you get every racial epithet and I hope you get all of the disrespect that you deserve. Because remember that people like us tried to stop stuff like that and you wouldn't listen. So I hope they call you a monkey, a spook, a jigaboo, and I can't even say the other words because I'll get banned. So thank you. Have a good day. I didn't even vote for the motherfucker. What the fuck did I do?
That is the level of discourse for sure.
There is so much of that right now online. It's just insane. It's
I hope you enjoy what you voted for.
And when you see Schumer put out 10 tweets like that, you see why people are doing it as well. Like they get this strategy comes from the top.
Yeah. Blame the people who didn't vote for us. It's your fault. You weren't loyal to the party. The party who said, we're not going to listen to you. We don't want to do any of the things that we know are majority popular, not only in our own party, but for the whole country. And you owe us your votes. The sad thing is then seeing it move its way even to groups that are ostensibly supposed to be the far left of the Democratic Party.
The Thots and prayers?
Yeah. So this was the ad for the DNC hookup. Well, it's happening in February 13th. Thots and Trots, a socialist singles mixer. And again, I've seen a lot of people because they got a lot of pushback on this, right? So Thots, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a slur started against women. Of course, it could be men also, but it really did start against women. But I guess fine, you can call men sluts also, but it's that hoe over there, right? It started for sure as a slur.
Yeah, and look, there's some ownership of the word where it's if you want to call yourself a thought, that's not
right.
You know what I mean? And so I think they're trying to make a play on that somehow.
I think you're right.
Us lefty, it's women, it's men, it's trans people, it's everybody.
Right.
But you just don't fucking do that. You're
yeah. I mean, it just
you're
also
undermining your own cause. And they have so many accusations of sexism and misogyny within DSA.
Yeah.
To not have the foresight to not do this. It's just screaming, what the fuck?
This is not, I'm not saying people shouldn't find joy. Of course we should find joy. And I know they have other meetings, they do other things, but I don't know. It feels like we're going to embrace this thing where we all get to just be our ids and say whatever the hell we want to say, even if it's not appropriate because we're, racy like that. And isn't that funny? And we're handing it right back. We can do the MAGA game. And the MAGA game, if you want to do the MAGA game, you do the Freedom Caucus game. Get on the squad, withhold your votes, hold up everything until we get healthcare, until we get a $30 minimum wage. Don't vote for Hegseth or Rubio. Don't that's where the focus should be. If you want to be like Republicans who are successful, block everything, because this is serious. Like, I think this is a serious moment, right? We've surpassed 1.5 Celsius. COVID is still, we have a quademic now. 1,000 people are dying every week from COVID. Thousands more are becoming disabled long-term. Kids are affected. It's affecting their brains. It's affecting all of our immune systems. We have climate disaster, one after another. We're 30 seconds to midnight on the doomsday clock. Israel is our settler colonialist, outpost in the Middle East, and they are bombing 3 countries at once. They are committing genocide. Nobody's stopping them. I don't know. And again, I'm not, of course, like, we also need to understand what we're fighting for, and we need to find love and fun and happiness. But
yeah,
I don't know. It just feels tone deaf to me. Yeah. It's
tone deaf. And look, where I land on it is, I understand people that say don't shit where you eat, don't mix politics and dating and all that stuff. And I practice that in my own life. Like, I don't slide into DMs of people and like, hey, can you help retweet this cause? And then I'm like, hey, what are you doing Saturday? Like, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have flirty conversations with somebody if something happens.
Right.
But I'm just saying DSA has a rap of being this place already where it's just some socialite stuff. So if they're going to have this event, I don't have a problem with it. I have more of a problem that it's not masked, but I have a problem with the title. I think if you have a social gathering and it's a dating thing, that kind of isolates it over there. Like, the people that go to that thing know it's a dating thing. You can keep it apart from the regular thing. I don't have a problem with that. We all have to live our life. And I kind of feel like, personally, as a single dude, finding people with my politics is more important than anything. So, I understand that piece of it somewhat, but it's just an awkward, it's like, to me, at least, if you do it with the dating thing, everyone that goes there knows it's a dating thing. You're not doing it anymore. Like, maybe you can keep that out of the other thing the rest of the time. I don't know. Maybe that's a mess. Maybe that's not a good idea.
I mean, and maybe if it had happened on its own and not with the backdrop of Democrats now embracing, like, we're just going to let our freak flags fly and, use the R word and be ableist and be sexist and maybe even be racist because, and like tell people that fuck you if you're being sent back to a country. Half the people they say that to are American born. So it's like so crazy, disgusting. I don't know. It just feels...
It's terrible.
It's a serious time. Like, I'm so upset about 100%. Everything that's happening. And again, like, I want to have fun. I want to meet people and have drinks outside or with a mask or whatever. But like, I don't know. Anyway, that just felt like another line item in this dissent. I want stronger fighters. I want a stronger bulwark. And also, as people point out, like, their donation button goes to Act Blue, which is just a Democratic Party PAC, right? Like, that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll defend that a little bit because they use a Act Blue. There's a mechanism within Act Blue that doesn't bring things back to the party, so that's kind of
really.
I saw the DSA pushback on it. I know it's true because I've heard it from candidates that used Act Blue before as well. So
all right, then sorry, that was my own fake news.
Part,
Okay, I just think a lot of work has to be done before we can be glib. Like, and I know, coming from us, like, we have the show where, like, we drink and we try to be funny. I don't know. Like, I understand why people are upset, because it just doesn't feel great when it feels like the world's burning around us.
No, it's not any different than the DNC people all doing the line dance this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't know if we even pulled that. Did we pull that? I don't know. But
I don't think so. Yeah.
They're all, in the line dance, shock, 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 shock.
That's like the Kamala dance.
They're all doing the Kamala dance, row of like, 50 of them. Yeah. And this is at the DNC chair debate thing, I think.
Really? Oh, no, I didn't even see that. That's crazy.
Maybe it wasn't there. I don't know. But it was a Democratic Party thing.
We're all fake news tonight. We're just going to keep saying things that aren't even right. Right.
But it doesn't meet the moment. It's like,
right.
It's like if you were doing that dance, it should be at a rally or something that's
we're
pushing
fighting
back
hard
somehow.
for something. Yeah.
Not like, hey, David Hogg is our VP chair now, DNC chair, vice
and
chair.
Let's just like get to third way Democrats, which is like the basically, the Clinton far right Democrats who made Democrats into the Republican Party, right? So this is their big plea that they were calling on potential. We're already thinking 2028. They are already putting their finger on the scale here. Reject the pledges that left-wing interest groups may pressure them to take, arguing that this sort of thing contributed to Harris's loss. And this is what they're telling people to reject. Below is a short list of wrong-headed and unbelievably unpopular policies. So already a lie.
Straight lie. Like all these are incredibly popular policies. So like, how do you even say that in writing? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That far left groups are trying to strong arm Democrats to embrace. They might sound good in a faculty lounge, but as you read this list, ask yourself, can a Democrat win the popular vote if we're the party of defunding the police, ending incarceration for drug use, cutting the prison population in half, decriminalizing border crossings, abolishing ICE, canceling all student loan debt, making college free, providing all Americans a guaranteed income, establishing Medicare for all, abolishing private insurance companies, creating a federal job guarantee to provide a job to every person in America, declaring a climate emergency, banning fossil fuels, and banning the sale of gas appliances. All right, I don't know about the gas appliance one. So, everything else.
Well,
do you remember the map of Bernie's supporters? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the same thing, but you said the gas appliances. But I think the public, they're not that one. I don't know. But when you show them the science of safety of gas appliances versus electric and save money, like they're for electric. It's not like, oh, you're going to take my stove. I don't think that's a real thing. So that's kind of bullshit to me. But I was going to say the Democrats did convince people that immigration is such a danger that they're right on the immigration pieces they put up there only because of their branding. Before that, Democrats did not believe that bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's why you use your bully pulpit. Which is why Bernie was so effective. Like he woke a lot of people up. Whatever you think about him now, Occupy Wall Street really did a great job. Green Party had some policies like Medicare for all and the Green New Deal but like Bernie brought that into the mainstream, and they were so popular that they had to rig a primary twice. They had to, like, that New York Times map of individual donations across the country was all Bernie. So they had to release 2 maps to take away the blue that was all Bernie. Bernie's color was blue. I have it, but we don't have it here now. But anyway, Bernie's colors, take that away to show other people's donations because it was so minuscule in comparison. In 2016 is when they started, right after they rigged the primary and Hillary lost to Trump, they started the Stop Bernie meetings in the Hamptons.
Of course they did.
They knew he would win. So this thing of like, that's not popular, nobody wants it, is a lie, and they know it.
All I think about when I see that list is, what the fuck are you running on? Because that's healthcare, the environment.
Say the R word, baby. Say the R word.
I mean, what is your platform? And that's the plan.
Hard R, really front and the back. That's all
they want to see things implode, explode, destroyed, society breaking down so bad under Trump that you're like, we can't do another Republican. That's it. And all they're going to do, like I said, is they're going to offer going back to normal, and then they're going to meet in the middle, and it's going to be half the shit that Trump did, which is all going to benefit Democratic donors just as much as Republican donors.
Yep.
It's all going to happen. So they want now to start on this purity pledge of like not promising anything, basically, which is why they fucking lost. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, they know they're trying to, it's all marketing. They're trying to shape a narrative and make it stick as they kind of did. Because if you don't have Democrats saying, no, billionaires are evil, every billionaire is a policy failure, there are no good billionaires, those people are exploiting labor and destroying our climate. That's all they do. There's no good billionaire. Instead, the guy who just won the DNC chair, and guess what? Guess who loves him? Third way, the same people who say we don't want Medicare for all or a living wage or any of those things. Congrats to the new DNC chair, Ken Martin. We wish you success. Democrats must now improve our party brand and win back the reasonable center. And, they talk about the center. Again, most people in this country, when you talk about those policies, agree with the left progressive policies. Those are not left or progressive in the rest of the world. Those are just like mainstream policies. Healthcare, a living wage. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That is normal, like how a country survives.
Our culture forces people to pick a team, right? And there are some clear differences between the teams, but when you break it down to issues, healthcare, living wage, even the environment, if you convince people, if they believe something, they're going to say, oh shit, we should do something about it. Like, that's the reasonable center. The reasonable center are the ones that are movable on, like, hey, here's a real fucking threat. Do you want to do something about it? And they're the most movable because they're not on either of these teams because they see through the bullshit mostly, or they're tuned out and they don't give a shit, and you can convince them. But you can't convince them by saying we have no platform. We don't stand for any of these things. Yeah. Those don't win those people over. And they want everyone to take this impurity pledge.
Yeah, no, they're horrendous. And the fact that Third Way, like him, likes Ken Martin is all you really need to know.
Wait a minute. I'm a little aroused.
People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time in terms of going. People are.
I can play that. That's going to make our intro next
yeah,
week.
I was just going to say, I think we need to keep that. I mean, nothing like hearing Chuck Schumer talk about arousal.
Do not come.
Do not come. We should just do one whole thing of that, like everybody taking out of context.
Sexual innuendo.
Yeah. So here is, again, like there has not been a great autopsy on Democrats' loss. They've not yet blamed it on Putin, but, there's been no real autopsy apart from we wanted to be able to say the R word and not mind our language in front of marginalized communities, and Dems wouldn't let us do it, and that's why they lost. In almost no article, thought piece, whatever, written about what Dems need to do, have they discussed the fact that supporting genocide was a key factor in Kamala Harris losing because people stayed home. They would not vote, thank goodness, for somebody who supports a genocide. And they won't talk about that. But that's what lost Democrats the election. And here we have the new DNC chair who, this was last year. And now here I am. I'm gonna like my flip flop. Twin City DSA. So in Minnesota, which is where Martin's from, in October of last year, just a couple of days after October 7th, said that they stood in solidarity with Palestine, as most, I shouldn't say most people, which people with a firm grasp on the history of the terrorism of Israel towards Palestinians since 1947 and before, but anyway, we're well aware what was about to happen. People right away were sounding the alarm that this was going to be an open, acceptance of a genocidal war against Palestinian citizens. And so Twin Cities DSA writes that, and Ken Martin says, from the river to the sea is a chant used by extremists to support the destruction of Israel. It's appalling to embrace this rhetoric in this statement, which also doesn't even acknowledge the slaughter of Israeli and American civilians. This is disgusting. No mention of the fact that up until that moment, 2023 was the most deadly year for Palestinian civilians in the West Bank, not even in Gaza. No mention of the almost 10,000 hostages that Israel had taken of Palestinians, many women and children who are now being released with scabies, and some have been raped to death, tortured. The difference in the physical appearance of released Israeli hostages and Palestinian hostages who are released, it's like looking at like survivors of Auschwitz. I mean, truly like emaciated, covered in scabies, and totally traumatized by torture and rape. And this is our new head of the DNC.
So they take the reasons Democrats lost and they're running on them again for the next time. No platform, genocide, I mean, you name it. What
no
is
healthcare?
No healthcare. This is the guy, so you got genocide, healthcare, the economy,
climate.
Right?
Yeah.
The climate. I mean, many issues, obviously, but the big ones, if you talk about what voters are deciding, what's going to elect Democrats, those are the big four, right?
Right.
And so his first thing out of his mouth that makes the rounds is, Democrats are going to be all in for the good billionaires. So you got Palestine, healthcare, this, and good billionaires. So that's going to change
Finger on the pulse,
dynamic.
baby. Finger on the pulse.
You're really nailing it, dude.
You nailed it. And just in case that winning argument fails, Kirsten Gillibrand has already signaled that the DSCC, so this is for Senate candidates, is prepared to intervene in party primaries next year. Prepared to tip the scales in Michigan, Maine, North Carolina. At a fundraiser last night, Gillibrand singled out Roy Cooper, saying he would be a formidable candidate. Democracy.
All right. So, I mean, if you think Democrats are going to save us, here you go. We're just going to.
Come on. Time for Mayor Pete to step in. I mean,
and do what?
What a mess.
How is he going to step in? He doesn't even have a job.
He's going to declare himself winner of the Iowa caucus and
he already won the primary.
With his what was that? I can't remember what that app was called, but the people who he paid to create an app and the app, but And then just so we don't want to leave any of these people out before we get into the true horrors that the Republican Party is engaged in. I mean, wait, that was this is friggin' Jeffries. Sorry, I meant to push something else. Shadow app. Thank you, Macarius. House Dem leader Hakeem Jeffries, Sinwar is gone, and Hamas is on the run, and Iran is at one of its weakest points in decades. We can't take our foot off the gas pedal until Iran is brought to its knees for the good of the world. What's the last country Iran invaded?
I've been saying forever the war with Iran is coming. Like they are
really,
they're wrapping things.
Good for you. You knew it.
I know.
You don't think we're all reading the same newspapers? We're all watching these same assholes gearing up.
But they need somewhere to spend the money on, and to not see the resistance from this guy over the thing that just cost them the election. Like he's the. If you didn't know Democrats were full of shit, like he comes across as like he has the right tone to deal with the seriousness of the issue. I think when he talks to the public, so like. Issues aside, I would think, he's sort of like the default leader of the Democratic Party now, I think.
I mean, he's the House Speaker. Yeah, he's the Nancy Pelosi. Yeah.
So he's the guy, and here he is, the guy who repping the party that just lost because of war with Palestine, basically trumpeting the next war already and saying we're with Trump on it, basically. Like Trump should do this. He should do this.
Today is the day that Trump really became president.
Right.
Today is the day. The mother of all bombs. And the Pod Save boys saying that the perfect distillation of what the Sunrise Movement has become, sadly, do what we ask, then we'll move the goalposts and yell at you. What? I mean, first of all, not that I'm like super thrilled about the success of the Sunrise Movement, but they started out feeling sort of militant. And so Favreau from Pod Save America is commenting on this report from Dave Weigel saying that one of the lesser known candidates at the DNC chair forum remarks on Sunrise repeatedly interrupting the forum. I signed the pledge they wanted me to sign, so it's a little surprising. It's a little odd when people on stage agree with you and then you yell at them. But let's just remember that, like, I would say that right now, like still sort of like the leader, the most popular Democrat.
Everything's fine. Everything is fine, Lila.
Everything is fine. Is Obama, who just said if we get to 2.5, 3, you take it's incrementalism with climate. What have we gotten? We have like the Paris Climate Agreement happened when did that start? In 2014, 15? Nothing has been accomplished by it. So yeah, you all need to be yelled at because you didn't talk about a Green New Deal or any climate activism or action in the 2024 campaign. You had your top Democrat running for the head of the biggest office in the free world saying she wasn't going to be against fracking. Yeah, you all deserve to be yelled at. We are like every day there's another fire, a flood, a mudslide, a tornado, a hurricane. Like, what are you talking about? Yes, you get yelled at. You haven't done anything. You've delivered nothing. What have they delivered? A giveaway to EV companies.
I mean, for Biden to be running, or Biden/Kamala in the home stretch to be running on lowering ticket price gouging, like surcharges, ticket price surcharges and shit. And here we are. And they knew this was coming. And that was their message to win the public over. Like, the absurdity of it all is peak absurdity. But right now, like, if there's a time we need to, even the Democrats need to be out there raising the alarms, even though normally Dems aren't going to get involved here. But we don't even have the Pussy Hat Pardue movement going yet. Like, we're seeing real fascism, Nazism, terrible shit, like clearly.
Like Christian nationalists, the head of the Secretary of Defense has like neo-Nazi white supremacist tattoos all over his body. He's never had a fleet of people he's had to be in control over or, relegate duties to. He had handlers at Fox News because he couldn't handle his 3-martini breakfast. That's now our Secretary of Defense.
Well, he pledged to stop drinking if he won. So, you can trust an alcoholic to stop drinking because why? I don't know. He's abusive, problems with alcohol. And alcohol is one thing that Trump has always been against. He's sort of been a straight-laced guy as far as booze.
Yeah.
And he meets the requirements enough because he's a fucking Nazi.
Sorry guys. I didn't listen to you at all, Pat. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. But I was just looking, I guess we had some troll in the chat. I'm sorry. I apologize. We probably should have been monitoring that better, but we didn't. So thanks for taking care of it. Whoever did, thank you. And then also, thank you so much. Reflect the Sun. Cheers. I'm low. We're about to get into Republicans. We still have some more videos. So cheers to you, Reflect the Sun. We so appreciate all of your generosity. Let's spin the wheel and then we can get back to stuff, right?
All right. Yeah. Let's get something silly going or drink some more beer.
I'm definitely opening another bottle. There we go.
What do we got?
If we didn't,
all we have left is wholesome. We have wholesome. I apologize. It's wholesome.
You're so sorry. I love that. Even though we're going to get dinged on the music, that was really fun, though. I love it.
Is Nothing Safe? That music right there? Was that a song I should know? I did.
Yeah, it's Coldplay. Me, I'm so young and hip. I'm so young and hip.
You're dope.
I'm dope.
I have an electric skateboard though.
What'd you say?
I said I have an electric skateboard. I'm pretty fucking dope.
You are dope. Look
I
at
have
you.
that if I could.
And you've got your little beanie on.
I'm doing the beanie today, man. I'm so young with my beanie on.
So young. Hello, fellow kid.
Little kids.
All right, because I know we have a couple of I don't know. Do we want to show, what do we want to show? like I really can't stand these people.
Are we talking about staying with the Democrats for a minute?
I think we move on, right? Like we already, AOC is talking about oligarchs now and whatever, like insider trading.
All right, let's hit it real quick.
All right.
Here's our dark woke queen.
Right.
Biden on his way out, it was only on his way out that he was like, this country's controlled by oligarchs. Bye. Like, we could have used that energy a couple years ago.
Are you fucking for real? I could not hate her more.
I mean, that's crazy. We could have used that energy. You signed up like the second he announced. She didn't even try. She didn't, what she could have said was, I'll endorse you, but you better make sure that Cori Bush and Booker don't get pushed out. Or we're going to actually put forward a living wage, not $15 or $17. That's bullshit. $30. Or Medicare for all, or even a public anything. Nothing. She did nothing. Nothing. Not a thing.
Yeah, and to the hypocrisy of saying he waited till his last day, and you waited one more day than that to criticize him. You literally waited one more day than his last day to critique him on something he should have been saying the whole time. You had 4 years. Like, you are the most duplicitous garbage. Like,
she is truly duplicitous. And it is all marketing. That's her whole thing. Because there's no squad. What's the squad? And for her to talk about, I know, are we going to show the insider trading?
I guess we should. But look, she's Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was more as for universal health care as AOC was. And it took her a lot longer to pivot.
Yeah.
And
abandon it.
Bought by the corporate Democratic corporation. And AOC did that real fucking quick, and now she's just conning people. Sorry, it's just a con. There's nothing left there.
Yep.
Here she is on insider trading.
There need to be Democrats who walk the walk and talk the talk. There is an insane amount of hypocrisy, and the hypocrisy is what gets exploited to use the cynicism. And wherever there's a hypocritical window, for example, I think one of the most biggest examples of this is insider trading in Congress. Like,
dude, I don't know if I do I give snaps? I don't know what the kids do anymore, but like, dude, it is like, that's so crazy.
It's so crazy. It's crazy. I mean, like, and this is the thing. It's like people think that everyday people are stupid. I'm like, do you all really think that people don't see this shit? Like,
they sit on a committee, they get information about a drug or a contract or a thing. They immediately make a call. The stockbroker changes things and their portfolio swells.
Explodes. It explodes.
What are we doing?
And you're doing this on public trust.
Right.
On like taxpayer finance, public, facilities. Like, it, of course.
You're regulating the market that you're trading on.
Exactly. And
you run the casino.
And then we're supposed to act like money doesn't only corrupts Republicans? Give me a fucking break.
Mama Bear. Remember
Bring the Ruckus? Like, I want the meme. Okay, so who did that? The duck chasing the thing. The Twitter thing. Say Pelosi's name. Like, you're not bringing the ruckus if you're like this vague, the Democratic Party needs to reform. Like, and why wouldn't you fucking bring the ruckus? You're not getting any positions, promotions.
Yeah. She didn't get the
Things
House.
that you said, none of your alleged behind the scenes strategy for being a fucking sellout.
12D chess. It's coming. We're gonna
So
get
none of
House.
that has happened. Can you fucking Luigi your way out of fucking the Senate, the House? I mean, Luigi, go do something. Blow your career up. You'll write 1 million books. You'll have a million followers
seriously,
forever.
do something for the people. Not a single thing. And to talk about insider trading when one of the biggest beneficiaries of that is Nancy Pelosi. I said Booker and I meant Bowman. Sorry, but I did really like Charles Booker also. But he never made it because they had Amy McGrath up against him because they used a CIA spook, whatever, Trump light. She was the new Trump Democrat. Anyway, I just wanted to self-correct there. But yeah, AOC, massively disappointing. And yeah, that's exactly right. Force the vote, expose them all. What was that, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Was that 4 years ago? I mean, what have they done since then? It was a lot of like, just trust us. Trust us. We have a lot of stuff going on in the back. You guys don't know. There's a lot of that kind of like gatekeeping and like, we're in the know. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Zip it.
That was the whole game. And, like, online leftists are mad at us because we're not doing their little niche strategy of forced vote when we want to save it for something valuable, like increasing the minimum wage, when you wouldn't even fight to get that in the fucking bill, in the Build Back Better bill, or, like useless. Like, and so if you didn't choose to fight it, you should have fought to make the speaker change initially, get rid of Pelosi, right? But you didn't
or
fight for
leverage to vote. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you didn't fight for it for the $15 minimum wage, which is crap. I mean, $15, fuck off.
Yeah.
And you're not fighting. And then you wait till Biden leaves and you're like, he called it an oligarchy finally. He should have done that ages ago.
Yeah. And insider trading's bad.
Insider trading is bad.
We're not going to say
I don't know who's doing it.
Yeah.
There's some people doing it around here.
Yeah. Keep your powder dry. Now is not the time. I'm seeing all of your great
spilling beer on camera.
Are you really? Listen, I almost had to show up on camera today with a Band-Aid on my mouth because I was like picking at a
love that. A gag.
Like it was so gross. I was like, what are sunglasses for your mouth? I guess I could have worn a mask. What if I had done the whole thing with a mask on? Okay.
We should model masking on our show and just do the whole thing.
We should. We didn't pull the video, but Taylor Lorenz was at that party, that party that they refer to in the, the new woke, the people who did the horseshoe. It was influencers under 30 who helped the GOP win. And she was there with her mask on. I have to hand it to her. She did have her mask on. It was a bejeweled mask. The only one.
I see some important questions are being asked here.
Yeah, let's see it. What is it?
I tried to match this. Clearly deceased.
I like the names. They're good names for these beers. What's the ABV?
I don't know, but it's an IPA, so probably 6 to 7.5.
Aw, that's so good and gentle for you.
It's good. It's good. Hey, I got to lose some weight here. I'm a fatty.
Shut up. You're not. You're doing great. All right. Speaking of podcasters, we got a new, a new edict coming out of this GOP White House from Caroline Leavitt, the lovely young woman who, according to Joy Behar, only has her position because she's attractive to look at, which is probably true, but I don't see how that's any different from the last several, and a very good liar. So here's what she has to say to the podcasters.
We also, again, encourage anybody in this country, whether you are a TikTok content creator, a blogger, a podcaster, if you are producing legitimate news content, no matter the medium, you will be allowed to apply for press credentials to this White House. And as I said earlier, our new media website is whitehouse.gov/new media. And so we encourage people to apply. Again, as long as you are creating news-related content of the day and you're a legitimate independent journalist, you're welcome to cover this White House.
That's funny. Choose the tweet. I like it. You know, I have no problem with that, except I have a lot of problems. One, I don't like seeing a huge cross on her. I wouldn't want to see a huge Star David, or like, I don't want to see people's religion being advertised there. I have no problem with of course, like independent media being there, but obviously as they get rid of the New York Times and the Washington Post and stuff, which they are doing a swap out to bring in the One News Nation and all the other, like, it's just substituting one atrocious propagandist entity for another.
My plan is I'm going to apply as Tim Pool because of the hoodie.
You know what?
I'm going to get in there as Tim Pool, and I'm taking back the hoodie. I mean, I don't even know what is it? Beanie. I'm taking back the beanies. The left needs to be unwoke, and we're going to beanie it up.
You're going to beanie it up. I like it.
But leftists should get in there. I see Kimmy said Jordan applied. You never know. You really don't know. I mean, I had press credentials. I was 10 feet away from every presidential candidate.
Yeah.
4 years ago. In a room, and they wouldn't call on me, but I could ask questions, you know, and holler and be rude. And
I have this is where that thing that Jeremy Scahill said about like the circuit breaker. Obviously, they're going to get in all of these disgusting far-right fascist entities that I can't stand. But I wonder it'd be so great if Jordan Sheridan gets in there, or anybody from Status Quo News. It would be fantastic. If just because of how horrifically someone like Sam Husseini or Max Blumenthal was treated, then maybe, that would be awesome.
But the only guarantee is you got one shot.
Yeah.
We know under Trump, you got one shot and you're out. Like, so make it stick. Have a plan. Go in there with the script.
Yeah. And right away. All right. So here we're going to start with all the atrocious, GOP crap. So, okay. So the
Wait,
press
are
force,
we? Yeah. No, we're not.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God,
we are
just
pivoting.
One of these? Oh, wow.
We're pivoting.
All right.
Yeah, baby.
All right. That's perfect. I'm gonna refill. This is my third glass of wine already. I'm refilling, and everybody should toke up or do whatever.
Yeah, baby. Zena applied too.
Oh, good, Zena. All right, it's a big glass. I got a big glass coming. I'm gonna remove one.
Do it.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, baby.
Come on. I think you just do a puppet. Just do a puppet.
All right, fair enough. Right. Puppets it is. What do we got? We got birds. We got dogs. We got. Did we do Lucy? Did we show the dog that kept bringing things to her owner in the bath? Anyone?
I don't think so, but maybe everybody should drink a little more, and you'll feel like you never saw it before.
I never saw it.
So cute. Well, I feel like in the last 2 weeks, I've really I need my readers always now. I didn't need them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Trump.
You're getting old, Lila.
Trump. I blame him.
With you.
Okay, so let's really get into some of the most atrocious. starting with, okay, so the press corps thing, I mean, this honestly, I a little bit think it's funny, but Pentagon has informed its resident press corps that NBC, New York Times, NPR, Politico will rotate out of the building to give space to New York Post, Breitbart, OAnon, or whatever the hell you call it, One America, News Nation, and Huffington Post, which is kind of like the Huffington Post is in their
It's kind of they just threw them under the bus with that one.
like lib as it gets, but
I know
whatever.
they have a token lib account, but it's also like, yeah, we I haven't trusted you in about 6 years.
Yeah. And also, you know, just like all of these people who sit there while Sam Husseini gets dragged out, don't follow up with one of his questions. And like, I think that they're all just revolting. And I am, you know, the New York Times, the genocidal apologia that they have been doing for over a year, the getting us into the Iraq war on a lie, like there are times they do some good reporting, of course, but like there needs to be some real introspection happening for our fourth estate, and it's not, and they don't care. And now all this is going to do is set it up again so the Jim Acostas of the world can be like, press freedom, even though they won't mention Julian Assange or ever go to bat for him. They will, you know, throw Edward Snowden under the bus and call him a traitor. None of them, not one of these people has mentioned the over 200 Palestinian journalists who's been slaughtered by Israel for revealing the atrocities that Israel is committing. So like, it's all a joke anyway. I guess on some level, you know, that's the thing that they hate about Trump is that he reveals the joke. It's not a joke. I mean, it's a horror show, but they're all part of it.
But yeah, but none of this happens without Democrats paving the way. Like Trump is finishing the job. I mean, truly, press credentials, the fact that Sam on his last day gets dragged out of the White House press corps and
wasn't asked a question, wasn't called on for like over a year, I think.
Yeah, so sure, you're going to get a friendly press in front of Trump. It's going to be friendlier than ever. Occasionally, you'll have someone from MSNBC challenge him, and that'll be, you know, help their ratings a little bit for a short term. But we're not seeing the one thing you're seeing more of with Trump is more actual questions from press. I mean, I'm not saying it's good, and it'll be selective and they'll engineer it. But I mean, Biden was hidden for 3 years.
He did no major interviews basically that weren't pre-scripted. So, you know, and also, you know, watching what it was at Viacom that just paid a huge fine for because oh god, I'm gonna get all the situation wrong, but for maligning Trump or saying something that was proven not to be true, and instead of going to court with it because basically all of these corporate media outlets, news is like the last thing on their list of things they care about. It's like universities and education. You know, they're all like hedge fund managers, and all of these corporations that own the New York Times and CBS and MSNBC and whatever it is, they are more interested in their huge mega mergers that they don't want to run afoul of Trump with some small, tedious calling him out on doing something racist or sexist or, you know, anti-American interests or pro-genocide, whatever it is. They don't really give a shit about that. So they'll pay a fine so they don't have to go to court to be in Trump's good graces. So there's no real media calling him out at that high legacy media level anyway. They are doing what their CEO owners want them to do.
There isn't. And if we have a true fascist, which we do, and he's doing actual disgusting things, which we have, I mean, the deportations, that Guantanamo is now going to be a detention center. I mean, the list with Trump is just
like a Riley Act.
Doing like CDC removed all the language about LGBTQ plus. You know, they made pronouns illegal, basically. You know, like governments can't, not illegal, but you strip them out. Yeah,
and they're
ordering that you know, you have to use the bathroom you were assigned at birth. You know, all these disgusting things are happening right in front of our eyes, clear as day. The time for a challenging press is so important right now. And we don't have one because of what the Bidens did, because of what the Democrats did. They paved the way for this right now.
I mean, Trump is saying he's going to deport anybody. And they just, you know, there was the video. We didn't show it. We talked about it at the time last spring. There was a Chinese national student in the US who was part of one of the encampments wearing a mask. And she was arrested. And the way they arrested her was like such a weird violation. They had her
yanked her mask off.
And they yanked her mask off in front of the cameras. And she was so strong. You know, she's young. Like, they're all so young. I could be their grandmothers, and they're strong. And she kind of smiled, because what else are you going to do? But there was something about the way they took that mask off to like show her face and make her feel small. And she's being deported now, of course. But, you know, that, again, as you said, that started at liberal institutions in liberal cities in liberal states under a liberal president. And so now Trump is just furthering it and saying that anybody who's part of those protests who's not US born is going to be deported. Executive order to cancel student visas and deport resident aliens who are here legally who participated in pro-Palestinian protests. Like, the First Amendment applies to them.
Freedom of speech. Like, they are here
against our Constitution.
Legally.
This should be like a legal, like, everybody should be up in arms. The way when the Muslim ban happened and all the lawyers drove out to the airports. This is horrifying.
And we're not even seeing pussy hats, is my point with all this. None of this happens without Democrats okaying it, basically.
Yep.
Because they know he's going to be terrible. They're like, ooh, let's let him be terrible. But they also agree with
it. Like, they agree with it because all the billionaires who were used to be Democrats and now are Republicans because it doesn't give a fuck. But they're the ones who pressured, you know, Harvard and I don't know, the other schools to basically get rid of their university presidents for even allowing this to happen, right? The Bill Ackmans and all of the Robert Kraft. Like, Robert Kraft, wasn't he like raping child sex slaves in Florida? Why does he get to throw his money around? Like, why is he even in the public space?
Yeah, but Democrats, they're like, well, you got your new boyfriend. He's abusive, so you'll come back to me. Or, you know, like, it's just, they're hoping that, but like, at the end of the day, you're like, what'd you do for us? You didn't do anything for us. So anyway, let's go on with Trump. I did appreciate this. This was entertaining.
But what was that page for? Oh, just her for Kamala Harris.
It was like the presidential page for the office of Kamala Harris. Yeah. So this is a real thing. They trolled it and changed the regular 401 to that 404.
404 error unfound. Super funny as we deport people. Yeah.
Back to the unfunny because.
Okay, back to the unfunny. Going back to like what you were saying about Guantanamo, right? So Ken Klippenstein is getting tons of leaks from government. Lifetime, not partisan office.
Which,
not office.
Can I just say that's wild that they go to Ken, because that's how shitty our press is, that nobody reaches out to any mainstream media, because that they'll kill the story. They'll kill the story. Every major news network would kill everything leaked to Ken Klippenstein.
Yep. So U.S. troops were just notified. The Crisis Action Team, CAT, whatever, we're probably going to be hearing that a lot, has been activated to support migrant detention operations in Guantanamo Bay. That was sent to him by a former Southcom soldier. And, you know, just as a reminder, and thank goodness for all of these independent journalists, Ken Klippenstein, Drop Site News, The Lever, Jordan Sheridan, we've got Zainab Day in the chat, like all of these people who are doing the work that our corporate fourth estate is not. Biden gave Trump the blueprint to lock up 30,000 migrants in a private ICE jail at Guantanamo Bay in August 2024. The Biden administration granted a private prison company a $163.4 million contract to run the Guantanamo migrant jail. So
what do you want to bet it's so successful that they give them $1 billion next time? You know, this is the roadmap, and our economy is so fucked that we're transitioning in the next 4 years to people being locked up just to be free prison labor. I mean, it's already happening, but it's going to be like so overt that but the Democrats aren't pushing back. That's the whole point. I
mean, this is the Democratic. Is he the governor? Yeah. Is he the governor of Rhode Island? Yeah. Polisena, right? God, I'm so sorry.
No idea. Rhode Island? Who are you?
Rhode Island.
Where is that? Is that in the U.S.?
Using eminent domain to take all 31 acres of land on the site of the proposed 252-unit low-income housing project, housing people, and instead it will be used to construct a new public safety complex. That is managerial speak for Cop City. He is taking affordable housing. This is a Democrat. Eminent domain. Like, these are the things we learned about in grade school, and I kind of didn't understand what it meant. Oh, wow, what's happening there? It's like a whole special session. I feel like I'm aroused. It is Cat Kim.
See, she actually likes me occasionally.
She loves you. That's why she pees on you. Okay, so then there's the whole thing about the DEI. DEI is their excuse for everything. And, you know, this past week, were there 3 or 4 plane crashes, lethal plane crashes, which are horrifying. But right away, it's DEI. They're not talking about the fact that for the last 4 years, we've been talking about paring down, only 1 pilot in a cockpit, not 2. We've always had 2 as a safeguard. Air traffic controllers being stripped. Then, of course, Trump comes in and even strips it further. I'm going to find it. 1 second. We are moving all over the place, up and down. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Plane. I had a whole thing here. 1 controller. All right. Well, this is the truth of what happened. The control tower staffing was not normal during the deadly crash. An internal report suggests that the controller on duty, so this was the one that happened, I think it happened last Wednesday, and actually Jen Perlman was the one who told us, wait, is today Sunday? Yeah, Wednesday, during the show that this horrible crash had happened. The control tower staffing was not normal. An internal report suggested that the controller on duty the night of the accident was doing a job usually handled by 2 people. The collision between a jet and an Army helicopter killed 67 people whose bodies were being recovered from the icy Potomac. Staffing at the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan National Airport was not normal at the time of the deadly late-night crash between a passenger jet and an Army helicopter that killed 67 people. The internal report reviewed by the New York Times said the controller who was handling helicopters in the airport's vicinity on Wednesday night was also instructing planes that were landing and departing from its runways, jobs typically assigned to 2 different controllers. I mean,
so
not DEI.
Yeah, not DEI. And disaster capitalism demands that this becomes something where AI replaces these people. And if there's an area where you would think technology would prevent all these things, like you would think that we would have an AI system, or just AI is bullshit largely, but we would have some sort of computer fail-safe to prevent all these.
Yeah, where's the redundancy
ever fucking happening?
Yeah.
Like, none of this should be ever. A plane crash falling on a human should be removed from the equation already. Like 50 years ago, 20 years ago, we should have had the technology to prevent crashes for things. And there should be so many fail safes. But of course, we're going to get Elon Musk parachuting in and saving the system from DEI, and we're going to put his AI system in place, and that's the solution. A couple less jobs, some more robots that don't fucking do the job, or they'd be doing it now. That's kind of where we're at.
I mean, it really is where we're at. And again, it's a long-term project, because we were talking about this before just these past 2 weeks. And even though, of course, Trump and Republicans, all they ever want to do is strip the government, make it dysfunctional, and then say, see, this is why government sucks. But when you have the party of opposition contributing to that, because this was before that, they're now like military air traffic control, what is it called? Airports, runways that aren't being manned by anybody. They don't have anybody there. Because what's happened is they're privatizing all of this. They want to do it the same with the TSA. They want to privatize everything. And if it's not profitable, it's like the just-in-time manufacturing. It's why we didn't have masks initially, right? If you're only going to manufacture something when it's necessary, if you only have hospital beds that are going to be over capacity if there's ever an outbreak, which now we are going to have outbreak after outbreak. We're in a quademic right now. Almost every state is close to capacity in their emergency rooms because people have the flu, RSV, COVID, and norovirus. Just-in-time manufacturing means you are always operating with a wing and a prayer, crossing your fingers and clicking your heels, hoping you don't ever need something more than what you've meted out in order to make sure you have the most profit possible. So you never have extra. You don't want extra of anything, which is why we all get sent, the old, already, expired COVID tests. They're not making new ones.
And that's the biggest problem with the corporate influence in politics, obviously. So corporations, it's all about profit. Whatever you made this year, it doesn't matter how good you could have the same excellent product that the whole fucking country loves. But if you don't show a 5% increase next year, your stock goes down.
Yep.
And so when you start infusing that with politics, it's all about shaving money and not the end result. It's so
everything's run like a business.
It's a business. And
all these people are people who bankrupted their businesses repeatedly. So I don't even want, even if it were good to run a government like a business, which it's not.
Embezzled. Yeah. Just the dirtiest sleazebags on earth.
Yeah. They don't run their own businesses well, but government's not supposed to be run like a business. It's not supposed to be profitable.
Right. But even by that metric, by the metric of run it like a business because you run a great business, I can't get on Twitter half the fucking time on my phone. Half the fucking time it doesn't work since Musk took over. Half the fucking time.
Because
this is the guy who's and his first thing when he took Twitter is we're going to fire everybody. We only need 10 people in a room and we'll run this whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
then, of course, Twitter got devalued by $1 bazillion, just like we're seeing our economy fall to shit, which is it's happening for sure in the next 2 years. Our economy is going to be in such the shitter. But to bring it back, because I'm derailing us,
you're weaving
the planes. Yeah. What we enabled with this DEI talk and with Dems sort of co-signing it indirectly by not pushing back against it is shit like this by the most vile people in journalism and on the internet. And it's just normal now.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking about that.
You want to go thought crime? I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
We created a reality where we're disgusting. I hope the pilot's white. That's what these guys are saying out loud, openly. I hope the pilot's white.
It's so gross, and Democrats, as you said, are sort of Like they're endorsing that. We're not going to run a black woman again. It was sexism and racism. That's why Kamala didn't win. Not because she stood for nothing, not because she had flip-flopped so many times, not because she's a horrible speaker and can't put a whole sentence together because she is afraid of what she's going to say that might upset her benefactors. The lesson there that Democrats are talking about is, and so they just, you know, and fun, like I have nothing against white men. I'm married to one. I have 2 of them as sons. I had a white man father. Like,
don't get me started on white women. Don't get me started.
I'm not like, oh, anti-white, but like there is definitely the lesson learned by Dems is we're going to get Ken Martin and like the whole was, I mean, like James Zogby was the only person who put his hat in the ring who wasn't just a white man, right? Like for the DNC chair. Like that is the lesson that they learned is the country's too racist and sexist. And yeah, these guys are, and Trump is, and pretty much everybody in power is. But I refuse to believe it. And maybe I'm like missing the real picture, but I don't think that people actually think that way who are regular people. They want people who are exceptional at their jobs, who are going to be air traffic controller or a pilot.
Yeah, come on, fuck off with this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm never going to look at my pilot based on their color and think anything. It's the most ridiculous. Thinking that this is eugenic language from eugenicist language from
square jaw. I need a square jaw in my pilot.
But if you don't have the left pushing back on this right here, and they're just like, well, that's why we lost, so let's not push back on that. That's how you get fucking fascism. That's it. It's the formula right there. We've got it built into the Democratic Party's platform. And they're not going to save us during the next 4 years. They may not even win in the next 4, although they probably win the next election, to be honest, because country's going to go to such shit.
It's going to be
guaranteed that they're going to get elected. But regardless, like, why are you looking 4 years down the road? We have like this
happening the second
6 months from now. Things are going to be so fucking bad for so many fucking people. You have a plan for that. What's your plan for that 6 months from now?
What's your plan in 3 days when we have another game up in Canada? Because look what happened. I think it was yesterday when the Raptors were playing and the American anthem started to be sung.
8-year-old Kyra Daniel.
Let's go. You know how Israel's always like, oh, we're in a bad neighborhood and everybody hates us? We're now in a neighborhood where the people above us, the people below, they hate us. We deserve the hatred. But like, that's Canada. Canada is like the nice neighbors. They like, it takes a lot to push them to that.
This is the crazy part about Trump in this next 4 years to me is that, you know, the first time around, he kind of had the appeal to win again, maybe, or to just, you know, whatever. Now, none of that matters. It's just, everything's a fucking handout to people that are in his ear and people in power and people with money. Like nothing matters. Wrecking the entire earth, not just the US, 10 years from now, he's dead. He does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't want bad things to happen to the people, to citizens in the U.S., but like the reality is we're a fucking terrible force in the world. And the world is seeing it. And our alliance with Israel was the biggest thing on full display to the earth. And then we come back to this and he's just fuck the climate, fuck everyone, fuck every ally.
Tariffs on all of our friends.
What do you think is going to happen to like our economy is about to fucking tank hard. So start, you know, foraging and digging and like planting.
I mean, God, I wish I had a green thumb. I don't. So I will, like, I'm a really good cleaner and washer, and I will like do housework for people if they can grow some vegetables for me. I will clean your house.
I will punch somebody.
Okay, we can all bring something to the table. I did just want to shout out to Justin because he a couple times really pushed for that video, and thank you. Yes, that's a good video to show that we are despised now. And you know, I will say that like, did I just pull myself out? That felt like, go ahead, say it. Go ahead, make a prom night joke.
That's Josh's job. Sorry.
Third glass of wine, hitting hard. What was I saying? Oh, that like something happened a few years ago. US was playing Canada in something, and they were about to play the US, like our national anthem, and the sound equipment went out, and the crowd started singing the US, the Canadian crowd started singing the US anthem.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. Like that was back when I was like, yeah, but like to have it go to this point, and it's justified. Of course it's justified. It's we are a disgusting, vile nation, not just because of Trump, but yes, also because of Trump. All right. Anyway, wow, it's really late. We haven't even gotten to so much stuff. Holy cow. Just so you, like, I know you already referred to it, but so everybody knows that the whole DEI plane stuff, of course, it started with Trump saying his bullshit. And then Caroline Leavitt at the press corps says this. We need a Leavitt bomb, whatever the Psaki bomb.
Should we make a new one? Yeah, we'll do it.
Answered on this subject. When you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense. Rob Crilly.
I mean, we're so beyond, like, it's beyond. That's beyond. Like, to say those words. Here's this lily white blonde chick, fine, whatever, great. I don't care. Like, but like saying that, we have Hegseth with his Christian nationalist tattoos on his body. And what's his name? Elon Musk, who's like the official emissary, going to talk to the AFD.
Heart to the world.
Yeah. Who's like doing Heil Hitler's.
Loves the fucking frog meme.
Yeah, to the AFD in Germany, saying you shouldn't be ashamed of your German history. Yeah, you should be. You should be ashamed of your US history. Like if somebody came here, if a Nazi came here and was like, don't be ashamed of your US history. No, US has done some good things, but like that is code speak for own it. You're good. That is what we have in place.
And there's that video of him, I probably the AFD when you're referring to, but where he's saying, look, we want Italy to have its own culture. We want to think of Italy a certain way every time we go to Italy. You know, we want. So what? Yeah. So what you want the U.S. to be what? What's our culture? White? I mean, I don't know. Our culture is originally Native American or indigenous, and then we took over. We took over as the whites.
Yeah.
But then even after we became the white nation, it was they embrace everybody from every country. So our real origin after all of that is not white at all. It's every fucking culture.
Yeah.
So
which is like,
what does that mean when you say that, you fucking racist Nazi piece of shit?
I mean, this is how far right this country has gone in our political parties. Because I really do think that people are reachable. If you give them something, I do think that's possible. I really do. If I didn't think that, we'd have no hope. But the people in power, the elected officials, and every single, CEO, capitalist, billionaire, whatever, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush even talked about immigration and how important that was to our country. Regardless of what they did, disgusting. But at least they gave lip service to it, right?
Yeah, but I think what we're looking at is, unfortunately, opportunity to win people over. Because all the scapegoating so much of it being false is going to be on display in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just going to be clear, like, look at the harm it caused by all the immigration shit you caused. Holy shit, this beanie that used to cost me $35. I don't know what beanies cost. I got this.
Yeah,
I got this
no
free.
idea.
Got this free with my electric skateboard.
Really?
Yeah, ages
I like
ago.
it.
But
That's good.
But anyway, the beanie that used to cost $35 is now $60 because you have to have it made in the US, right? It's our clothing from China. All of it's from China. All of it. We don't have the economy to build. It just can't be done here in the US. So clothing is going to be so fucking expensive. Food, other than the poisoning that we're doing now of our own food supply, we rely on other countries so much for so many things. Like our economy is so fucked with all these tariffs right now. So, some of them
our economy is truly screwed. Bird flu is really going to destroy. Also, like we're about to have a food shortage for sure.
But where I was going with all this is that it's all in the face of the public. Like, it's the economy, stupid, doesn't change because it's Trump. Yes, they're gonna latch on to blaming immigrants and things. That doesn't change. You're gonna hang on to that idea forever because it's so built into their psyche. If you're on the right or you're a racist or you just believe Trump is a good guy. But there are going to be so many cases where it hurts the pocketbooks of the people who believe these things that we have an opportunity to change their minds.
We really do. And what we need is like the bully pulpit. And actually, we were looking at this a little late, so we'll show it in the next show, I think. But Shama Swan and Worker Strike Back is partnering with Jill Stein and members of the Green Party, Jason Hall. They're doing, they're going to have a big organizational meetup to talk about how important it is for us to stop labor, right? To shut down labor and shut down the money flow towards the people in power. Because that's the only thing, like, we're not voting our way out of this. The only thing that's going to change any mind are like, a million Luigis, which isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Or workers shutting it down, striking, and bringing everything to a screeching halt and demanding. And it cannot all be reactive, right? It has to be building solidarity, building those connections, not having everything. And of course, we have to respond to crises because they're throwing crises every which way. So I'm not saying that, but like there has to be a bigger master plan of coming together. And fucking Sean O'Brien, I was willing to give him a little bit of leeway, but now I see him throwing immigrants under the bus. So I'm like, but
we have to accept reality. We have to accept that things are not going to get better. Like we're on a worse trajectory, right? Things are going to get worse.
Yep.
And the Democrats there's no voting out of it. Democrats won't do it. So what else? Where can we affect anything? It's labor. It's anything that affects their pocketbook.
Yep.
That's it. So, don't like putting your energy behind candidates to infuse the party.
Oh my God.
Okay, do you believe that at this point?
No,
like
that's not.
I have to think you're just tuning into politics.
Or you like just throwing your money away. Like, I think for some people that feels like
it feels like a good, like kind-hearted, like I gave my extra change to the Greenpeace.
You're not really affected one way or the other, apart from what you hear on MSNBC. And it just feels kind of nice to be like, well, I did something. And that's nothing. It's like, the whole democratic democratic engagement in this country has been targeted towards just vote. Don't boo, don't protest, just vote. And that's the whole democratic engagement. And unfortunately, and it's awful, and it makes me furious that we have to fight for everything every second. But like the democratic engagement has to be every day. It's not about voting for it's like forging that community and that solidarity and knowing who your comrades are. I know we're not getting to Israel, but there were a couple of videos that came out this week that I wanted to share. I know it's late, but can you bear with me for a moment? Okay. So, one thing, and people can look it up because I don't ever need to see Tucker Carlson really, but there's a clip of him and Piers Morgan talking about the genocide.
Oops. Sorry.
Sorry.
No.
What were you doing? I feel like you're going to
I meant to switch to my audio avatar.
So
I could not go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay, you should go to the bathroom. I know you thought we were done, but I had more to share. Go to the bathroom.
No, of course.
Anyway, but he is actually schooling Piers Morgan on why is this even a problem to talk about slaughtering children and women? And again, I hate that men aren't included in that. It's all awful. But to have Tucker Carlson on the right side of this genocide on some level is just the mind boggles. But anyway, just wanted to share 2 short videos that were really moving for me. One was this man coming back to his home with his mother. The home is in total rubble. And as a, ethnic myself, a Jewish mommy, this felt very similar to something that I would feel everything is destroyed, but where not that I've lived this, I did not mean to compare myself in that way. But anyway, all right, I'm not going to set it up anymore. The eye roll that he gives to his mother, to me, was really heartwarming in this moment as she's looking for her jar of makdus.
مشكلة أنا زعلان على مرتبان المقدوس هذا مش فاهم والله يا شيخ أهم شيء مرتبان المقدوس أيوة
So they finally make it back to their home that's been completely destroyed by the IDF, and she can't find her jar of makdus, which then led me on a whole thing to look up makdus, which sounds delicious. I didn't know what it was. It's stuffed eggplant. I now am headed tomorrow to go buy my own jar because it's amazing. But that's what she was upset about. And he's looking around look at our house, but she's worried about her jar of makdus. Just felt I don't know, just a lighter moment in all of this to share of this horrible time. And as I think everybody knows, the ceasefire has been broken repeatedly by Israel, certainly in the West Bank, but also in Gaza. Children are being, sniper shot, killed. Buildings are being blown up. Of course, in Lebanon, that's had a ceasefire now for weeks. The buildings and people continue to be destroyed. But this was Dr. Tahir, who's a UK doctor who refused to leave Gaza, even when he was allowed passage, coming back to the UK and being welcomed. And it was just a beautiful moment that we wanted to share. Something about the custom of getting to your knees to kiss the feet of your respected elders and loved ones just breaks me every time I see it. And I love it. I think it's just beautiful. So we haven't talked about Israel today, or I think even on Wednesday, because we are so sort of enmeshed in our domestic politics, but the horrors continue. So yeah. All right. Did you go to the bathroom? You feeling good?
I did. I handled it.
Good.
Sorry. I
handled it.
Just
handled it. That's what she said. All right. I think, is there anything you wanted to add before we tap out?
I mean, there's a million things I wanted to show, but we just didn't get to. But
I know.
The Democratic Party right now they're not even mustering support for Pussy Hat Party Part 2. Like, they're not doing anything. And like the first time around, it was like, you know, Trump was a grenade into the system. People were like, let's see what happens. And they still got all these people up in the streets. And now we know what's happened. We know how bad he was the first term. And we see, like, in the first 100, he just gave you the roadmap with his first 100 executive orders, and they're doing fucking nothing. They're forming committees to talk about maybe doing something, but they really don't want to do much because their election chances, it's like branding. It's like, hey, how do we get Coke to beat Pepsi? Well, Pepsi is like doing some bad shit. Let's just sit back and watch Pepsi do some bad shit. And then in 4 years, people will vote for Coke. You know,
that's the plan.
That's where we're at. So we have to do it ourselves.
Feel, felt, found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it? Feel, felt,
That's
found.
it.
Feel, felt.
I know how you feel. A lot of
around.
people felt that way. But what I found was.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank
you.
That. You're welcome. Sleazy Sales 101.
Just gross. I see you. I feel you. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and trots.
Trots and thoughts.
Trots and thoughts. All right. And we didn't get to COVID either, but new study came out. Novavax is the way to go. So if you get a chance, it's doing so much better in efficacy in long COVID.
And especially there's a study that showed that kids were doing really well with no long-term. People in the study had no severe effects long-term.
And they were even testing what's it called? You know, when you don't show symptoms, asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic. So they were testing people regularly, I think twice a week. So they could see even if you were testing positive, you weren't having symptoms, and then it didn't have like there's a lot of stuff. So it does seem to be much more effective.
Yeah, it's the kind of study that is so clarifying that you should have a public health, like, hey, we should shift towards this message. It's that significant, especially when it's
just
a non-mRNA.
You're not going to do it. Yeah.
Well, especially because it's a non-mRNA virus, which is the number one thing. Vaccine. Number one reason the right pushback. Well, not reason, but their justification for this being a bad thing is, it's new technology that's all fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this is the old school vaccine.
Totally.
Our government should be pushing it hard for their adoption and everybody's adoption. Instead, they're putting roadblocks in the way of it getting to everybody and kids. It's hard for kids to get.
Yeah. And of course, and we'll talk about it on Wednesday, but with JFK, or what's his name? RFK.
We had so much on RFK too.
I know. Well, we'll get to, we're going to tailor our shows. We're going to be a little more focused on Wednesday. The shit show is just like the shit. Yeah.
Just remember, he's a piece of shit. That's all you need to know. If you just know that, don't support him.
Truly is a piece of shit. In the meantime, as Democrats are tweeting and saying, the hard R, the beginning and the end of the words that they felt they couldn't say, and now they're liberated to say, people are in the streets all over the country. They are protesting these vile fascist ICE raids and deportations. And shout out to all of them, because we take care of us. So thanks to all of you.
As none of this is being led by Democrats.
It's
not a drop of it. Not a single fucking piece of this protest is led by Democrats.
Yeah.
But cheers.
Cheers. Keep punching up. We love you guys.
Absolutely.
Siempre ando bien frío. Siempre poniendo frío. ¡Fuerte!